Hundreds of millions of years ago, this planet was not the blue home we know today. It was a massive furnace. The Earth's surface was dominated by scalding temperatures, a thick atmosphere of sulfur and ash-filled air. Life, by any definition, was impossible at the deepest parts of tectonic rifts. Atmospheric pressure thousands of times higher than today compressed hydrogen and oxygen together in a forced molecular dance. This wasn't just water. This was primordial water, a dense solvent filled with pure life energy. At the center of this pressure zone, a core of life began to form. It was not an egg in the traditional biological sense. It was a crystalline sphere of biological energy, encased in a transparent, sapphire-like shell, holding the genetic code of a god inside. The incubation process lasted millennia. This sphere absorbed heat from the Earth's core, transforming it into hydrothermal energy. It waited. It waited for the moment when this planet would need balance, and then the Earth's crust trembled. Groudon expanded its territory too far, threatening to dry up the fragile moisture of the atmosphere. The imbalance triggered nature's defensive mechanism. The god had awakened. This is Kyogre in its primordial form, though called newborn. It was already a giant compared to the single-celled organisms of the time. However, at this stage it was not yet a god. It was a survivor. Kyogre's young body was extremely dense, made up of highly compressed muscle tissue to withstand the pressure at depths of 10,000 meters. It could not yet summon rain. Its only task at this point was to feed. Kyogre's diet as a juvenile wasn't fish or meat. It fed on thermal energy. It swam close to hydrothermal vents, where water heated to 400 degrees Celsius spouted from the Earth's depths. Observed this process. Small openings along Kyogre's flanks absorbed molten minerals and ions. Inside its body, a biological reactor transformed thermal energy into body mass. It was drinking the Earth's heat to cool the planet from the inside out. With each gulp of hot water it consumed, it expelled pure cold water. The primordial ocean was a brutal place. Despite its divine blood, young Kyogre had to fight. Its skin was not yet as tough as steel. A bite from a Kabutops left a scratch on its fin, but this was when its instincts began to rise. Kyogre did not fight with teeth. It struck with its tail. It was the first time it used water pulse, not magic, but absolute control over the water molecules around it. By compressing the water at a single point and releasing it suddenly, it created a liquid bullet with the destructive force of a cannon. Kyogre realized water was not just an environment, it was a weapon. For thousands of years, Kyogre ruled the ocean depths, but the depths were not enough. Its instincts pushed it upwards. To the sunlight, its body began to change. The dark blue skin, now harder than diamond, an organic alloy impervious to penetration. The red lines running across its body were the alpha energy conduits, the source of primordial power. When Kyogre broke through the dark waters to enter the twilight zone, it felt the dry world above. The sky was ablaze. Groudon had expanded. The land too much, turning 70% of the planet's surface into deserts and volcanoes. The oceans had become isolated, massive bodies of water evaporating under the sun. Kyogre was furious. Its wrath was not emotion, but a response from the planet's immune system. This was a historic moment. The king of the seas had revealed itself. The moment Kyogre's fins touched the air, a chain reaction occurred. Special cells on its skin released a massive amount of aerosol into the atmosphere. The humidity surged by 500%. The drizzle ability was activated. But with the power of a young god in full force, this was not a drizzle. It was a torrential downpour. The two opposing forces met. One sought to expand land to create space for life on land. The other sought to expand the oceans to nurture life underwater. Neither was wrong, but neither could exist at such extremes. Kyogre did not fight with muscles alone. It fought with the environment. It summoned the origin pulse. Countless bolts of deep blue energy erupted from its back, tearing the fabric of space apart, turning rock into dust. Groudon retaliated with precipice blades, lifting the seabed, piercing Kyogre's belly. The blood of the god spilled into the sea. but it immediately dissolved, turning into nutrients that nourished the first marine algae. Even in war, life was created. This was the ultimate evolution, primal reversion. Kyogre no longer controlled water. It became water, its size doubled. Its body became semi-transparent, glowing like the core of a blue star. The primordial sea ability was activated. The rain was so heavy it extinguished even the most active volcanoes. Groudon's fires were completely nullified. Victory belonged to the oceans, but the price was too high. The world was flooded. Life on land faced the risk of extinction. Kyogre, in its victory, did not know when to stop. It sought to turn the entire planet into a massive droplet of water suspended in space. It was then that Rayquaza, the guardian of the sky, intervened. To end the war and force both gods into a deep slumber, the god returned to where it all began. Kyogre curled up, its glowing lines fading, entering a dormant state. A shell of stone formed around its body, turning it into a part of the planet's geology. But even in its slumber, Kyogre continued to work. Each time it exhaled, it released ocean currents that circulated across the world. It regulated the ocean temperatures, ensuring the equator didn't get too hot and the poles didn't get too cold. It became the heart of the oceanic circulatory system. Around where Kyogre sleeps, a rich ecosystem unlike any other began to form. Marine Pokémon like Clamperl, Chinchou, and Lantern gathered around the sanctuary to absorb the excess energy radiating from its body. Kyogre not only shaped the oceans with its power, but also nurtured them with its very presence. Humans call it a legend. Scientists call it an unexplainable meteorological phenomenon. But to the creatures of the sea, it is father. Sometimes, when the tide rises unusually high or when a massive storm appears out of nowhere, the seasoned sailors know Kyogre is stirring. Kyogre's life is a testament to the immense and terrifying power of nature. From a small seed of life in a tectonic crack, it has risen to become the architect of the blue planet. It reminds us that the ground we stand on is merely small islands floating on its kingdom. Humanity can conquer the skies, can drill deep into the earth, but the ocean remains an enigma, an impervious realm under the protection of its great wings. As long as Kyogre sleeps, the world remains at peace. But remember, the sleep of the gods is not eternal, and when the ocean calls, the king will rise again. The mission is complete. The cycle continues.